New shot launch, steel tip action on the 4th generation Bandit board, adding the one-piece flight deck system to all steel tip barrels as well. I'll be throwing 23-gram weight everything, starting with the Celt Tornos, followed by Roman Empire Juno, and finally the Celt Balor dart. God, I love the steel tip version even more. It's longer and more torpedo-y than the soft tip. We've got a straight barrel now with evenly distributed weight. I'm going to use that King Crown milling as my grip reference. Shot calls that gnarly rear section vessel grip, I believe. It's unmatched by anything I've felt before, honestly. 83 scored. Next up, we've got the Celt Balor Bomber Dart. This is the hardest changeup for me because it's front weighted, so that means I have to hold in the max diameter. Yeah, good pick. Oh my gosh, guys. New darts, new Bandit dartboard, and new flight deck colors. Go ham.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to DPFL Darts. It is still time for some more finals. This is actually the Division 2 final that we'll be looking at over here. Joshua Shuler taking on Brad Lewis. Brad Lewis, who we saw play Mike Tieske in the semi-final match here on the stream. Looking forward to taking a look at this great matchup to see what these guys can bring to the board. Of course, I am Nick DeShow, your host this evening, so feel free to sit back, relax, and it's going to be a race to 10 legs for this final. So let's go ahead and have fun, folks. Let's watch the darts. I'm excited to take a look at D2. D2 is that 55 to 65 average range, so we should be in for a pretty good one. I mean, Division 3 final was more of a high 60s, and it felt like a Division 2 final. So it's going to be a tough task for these guys to try to upstage those guys from last night. Of course, we did have the premier division finals last night as well. A lot of fun covering a lot of different darts, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Josh and Brad bring to the table. Of course, if you are already invested in season 11, it is important to note Will Stewart currently playing his first match of the season right as we talk, so I'm kind of watching that one in the background. Currently down 4-2 against Mike Tieske. So if my focus is wavering at some points, it's usually just because I'm over there looking at how Sir Squilliam is doing. Brad has 303. I'm curious to see how he's going to approach the return. 418s and a trip 20 leaves the finish. Or excuse me, why did I say that? 719s. I was thinking 302. Hello, everybody. As looks like we do get our first 180 instead. He said, I don't need to hit the 133. If I hit a 180, that also leaves a finish. Good shot there from Brad Lewis. So Brad's sitting at 123 here. 19 leaves 104. Was going the trip 18 for bull route. Didn't need to go the bull route, as Josh was saying, back at 274 early in this leg. But it's a good habit to be in. We have an interesting angle here for Josh. It looks like the board has quite a lot of wobble on it. I wonder if it's the board or the camera itself, but it looks like the board just based off the reaction. Curious to see if that's the case. I have to ask him about it after this matchup, because I already struggle enough with reflex points, let alone a board that's shaking on me. Excited to get my first match of the season underway here shortly. Still waiting on the scheduling for that one. I will be recording, not doing live for any of my matches this go rounds.
First start.
And Brad Lewis gets the first leg on the board. Break a throw to start things off. Again, still a race to 10, so strap in, folks. We're going to be in for a long one here. Look at the tail of the tape here for these gentlemen.
100.
Brad Lewis coming in at number 25 seed, won 9-7 over Matt Bell. Then a 9-3 win over Martin Telfer. A 9-7 win over Robert Ferris. And then a 9-2 win over Rodrigo V. And then a 9-7 win over Mike Tieske, who is currently playing Will Stewart right now
70
on his run. Joshua coming in at the number 2 seed, had a first round bye, plays Matthew Lane in that second round matchup. 9-1 win for him there. 9-4 win over Adam North, and then a 9-6 win over Nick Soldo, the new darts content creator. And then, of course, Joshua Shuler taking on Joe Smith was a 9-1 win in the semi. So pretty dominant performance there. Looking forward to seeing if he's able to start channeling some of that energy. But right now, Brad's scoring has been incredible.
81.
Joshua struggling to get the power scoring going early here, but sometimes coming out of the gates quick has not been the best sign. We saw last night at Division 3 a 5-3 advantage, I believe it was, for Edgar, who ended up losing that matchup, not winning a single leg after getting that advantage there. So anything is possible. And I do think early jumps in long format matches are nice, but it's also really easy to let yourself off the gas too much.
45.
$140.
Solid shot there from Josh, though, to get right back into the mix. 106 still can go after the first start, and it has a dart of the bowl. Brad Lewis. Is that dart not in there?
73.
No, it was in there. Well, low on the last. Must have slipped out of the hand there. I don't think that was his intended target.
80.
A little bit of cleanup duty, and it's going to be over at the 15 now.
Second dart.
Pins it there. 2-0 jump for Brad Lewis in this final. If you're Joshua, you're just thinking, let me get that first leg in the board. The first leg makes all the difference. It's a big settler there. It helps you calm the nerves, knowing, hey, I want to get that extra prize money for getting the win here.
85.
Johnny Nolan in the chat saying a one more sound suppressor, probably. Interesting. I've never actually seen one in use, so I'm not as familiar with them. I have heard of the product, but it definitely adds a lot of wobble. I'm very curious. I would have to imagine, just by how much it is shaking, though, that it might be the camera on the tripod more so than anything else. I certainly would hope. Again, my ADHD could never. Like I said, can't even throw reflex points. And frankly, struggle to commentate reflex points sometimes.
$34.
You said Johnny said I have it and it wobbles, but not that much. There you go. Yeah, I would have to imagine it's just the
96.
The way that the camera is mounted. If I had to put any wagers in there. Brad's still out in front, continually finding good scoring. Josh is ramping it up, though. Awkward first there. You can see the way it leaned over
41.
on the one there. When it hugs the wire and leans to the left like that, it's kind of hard because it visually blocks the rest of the bed. Gives Shuler a chance here. Or Shuler, excuse me. A chance here. Good 121 on the turn. Takes advantage of the opportunity. Leaves himself a 102.
$101.
A solid response by Brad. Smartly trips the 7 instead of hitting a single 7. 99, no way to finish. Back to 80, so he's going back up. Oh, but sinks it low. You can tell that that dart was like, I really want to place it instead of just drill it right on through kind of dart. 82 did attack the bull first. 79 remaining. Double top doesn't go.
42.
75. Never the 25 for bull. But boy, would it be so cool. One dart double top.
Third dart.
Does pin it. Josh has his first leg on the board. Could be a nice settler. It's a good hole to throw. If you're Brad, all you're thinking is, okay, well, now I'm just going to hold my throw. I'm shooting at 77. I'm feeling good right now. I missed the dart at the double.
$95.
Another solid scoring visit. I always feel prouder of my 95 than my hundreds. I feel like every time I throw a hundred, it's like a shoulda, coulda, woulda. Every time I throw a 95, I was like, yeah, that was pretty tight, especially if the treble 20 is right next to the treble 5. It's funny how fickle the game of darts is and how darts always feels better with a good last dart trip
60.
rather than a first dart trip, even though the first dart trip is way more impactful. Hitting a trip and miss, disappointing. And hitting that first trip gives you all the options. Yet all of a sudden, if you go miss, hit a trip, you feel good about the turn. It's such a fickle and mental game.
$85.
Brad continues to score away. Very consistent on his scoring phase so far.
$45.
Of course, I comment on it, and then just the 45 on the response gives Shuler an opportunity to close that distance down. Do apologize about the camera artifacting there a little bit.
100.
Shuler did a good job of bringing himself back into the leg, especially because the setup rounds are not going too favorably for Brad, it seems.
44.
Yeah, 44 on the visit means that Josh stays true for another ton. Would be at the big fish. All good darts. Stay true.
100.
Does stay true. First one out of finish. Brad Lewis, of course, just going to try to focusing on pressuring. Those might both be in there.
140.
Good 140 to leave 32. Shuler has to hit the 170 now. First dart's in. Second dart's in. Bullseye for the 170. And no, it sails down and right. Leaves 48 on the return. If you get to, it's 32. Viable to go. Eligible to go. Beckoning to go. It does not.
16.
Can be a good dart, could be a blocker. It was in on the second dart there. 2-2 matchup. Yeah, this one's going to be very interesting, especially with how Brad kind of slowed down, then all of a sudden hit a 140 on the setup phase. But in the 200s, kind of eased off the gas. 100, nearly a 170 check. Shuler going to be happy with those last 3 visits to the Yaki. 4 visits even, because 48 check and 2 darts.
60.
Of course, I am excited to get season 11 underway. I'm glad to see all these matches getting played, all these great new names and faces, and the old ones alike. Curious to see when Jen Mounts will play her match. That's, of course, the question to be asked. I know I will
100.
be demanding to watch that one along on Dark Connect as well when it does go. She's a famous darts reviewer. Don't believe she's playing right now.
60.
$26. 19.
Joshua, for the season, just in the round robin phase, finished at a 66.18 for the season. 6 180s, 45 140s, and 169 100 pluses. The average finish of 35.33. Brad Lewis actually averaged about 4 points below him. Currently 13th highest in the 120 people that played in Division 2. 62.31
19.
with 8 180s, 40 140s, 140 100s, and a 36.05 finish. So their finishing range is very similar from what that stat line tells us.
140.
But also tells us that Brad's early scoring is a good sign because that's normally not the stronger part of his game, given the 4-point average separation. So getting early scoring, going to be very, very key. Continuing to push along as Brad Lewis is going to be approaching with a great opportunity here. Good last start from Shuler, trying to take advantage of the bull to leave a finish. It does take that advantage, for a matter of fact. And we've already seen him miss it on the bull for the big fish. He might want to reel it in this
40.
time instead. And that's going to be frustrating. Does collect 2 trips up top, but not the 20 this go around. 16 or 20 does hit the 16, so double top the elected route for Lewis. Sinks it low, needs to readjust on this last start. And see, when that start at the double goes that dead center of the single, I back off the line, give myself a reset, because I know if I try to throw at that same rhythm, I'm going to sink it into the right-hand side when I try to go for that 10. Does look like 2 singles there. 35 scored. So 72 remaining. Hits 36, leaves 36. Good shot from Shuler.
First start.
Good shot from Brad, though. Breaks into this once again after that 2-0 jump. Now 3-2. It's going to be a back and forth kind of game. Do appreciate every one of you watching along across all of our different platforms for this whole season of darting
59.
action. I hope you have been enjoying the show. We've been trying to bring back the live streams, bring it back in a little bit of a different style with a little bit more serious commentary, with a little bit of side couch conversation. Hope you've enjoyed the refresh, and if there's anything you want to see different with the season 11 streams coming right around the corner, please just let us know. Myself and Will Stewart, happy to oblige.
177.
Especially if you think there's something that, that's a good 177 from Brad, who's already hit a 180. If there's something you want to see in the live stream that you don't think is here, or something you would like to see different, let us know. We love to get challenged on the perspectives here, try to see what we can do to help improve this, make sure the DPFL, not only on the online league side of things, but on the live stream side of things, provides the best product possible.
99.
$99 doesn't leave a finish, but after 6 starts sitting at 401, no pressure to leave a finish on that go. So don't mind the bogey setup, as now you can just focus on teeing it down, hit another solid 100 for 66.
60.
Just 106 though. So Brad going to be focusing on continuing to take advantage of the
42.
86 remaining. Was going 54 for 32. 82 remaining. Trip 14 on a setup dart is probably what I would prefer. That's what he was going
38.
for. If it was dart number 2 on 82, that's when I usually shoot the bull for 16. We'll get 6 more darts at 68. This is Brad's leg to win. Josh kind of taking a refresher leg. Happens to the best of us. I know I was playing a practice match earlier, just like a little race to 5.
36.
I played a lot more than that, but my last practice match of the day was against my dad, and I played just a race to 5 with him. And I feel like if I didn't have my one leg where I just was like, all right, consistently for like 40, 30, 40, 30, instead of 60, 80, 60, 80, where I normally find myself at, I would have averaged a lot higher. But that's the whole point of a longer format. You can have those off legs, take those in, and be able to reset off them. Over to the 8.
16.
Isn't in on that last dart. Couldn't quite tell where that dart landed with the flight. Yeah, right on that wire. We'll still return for at least 3 more. Great 140. As now the pressure starting to get turned back on by Shuler. Brad Lewis can use that dart to his advantage. All over the wire.
Third dart.
Does get it in on the last, takes advantage of the other 2 markers. Well thrown. That's a 4-2 lead now for Brad. He's going to be feeling pretty happy about his position. Other than that last leg, though, Joshua's been in every single one of these, so I wouldn't have any alarm bells going off yet if I was him. But I do think that this is starting to get to the, okay, you need to hold your throw here. You need to settle yourself into place.
81.
Looking at Brad Lewis's tail of the tape for his season, he actually started off with 2 losses in his round robin. First to Ferris, then to Minty. Then had a win over Moser, Delisio, Bush, Larson, Opperman. Larson was his next loss, so he had the loss to Ferris and Minty, 3 wins in a row. Lost to Larson. Then he won against Opperman, Courtier, Brandon, and Abuchan there. Joshua in his round robin performance was near perfect. Week 1 win over Johnson. Had a draw in week 2 against Penny. And then win over Wilson, Altman, Torres, Trott, Rogers, Kopp, Schaefer, and Kipling. So almost a near perfect run in his round robin. That's why
125.
Joshua was coming in at such a favorable position. And the 3rd highest average in the round robin phase, only getting bested by Bruno Amaro and Rodrigo Viray.
81.
Got the 5 out of the way early, but not the way you intended. Awkward situation.
45.
Yeah, that last start, I can't tell if those flights are blockers from because the camera's such a low angle. But it's one of those things where you almost felt like there wasn't a chance for that last dart to go in the trouble, and I would have probably preferred to cover since one dart couldn't have left a finish regardless. It's all about getting the maximum squeeze out of every single one of your darts. Especially in long format, I'm focusing on scoring power. I don't care if my darts are missing
100.
2 to the left or 2 to the right. If I'm hitting trip 12s, trip 18s, trip 20s, it doesn't matter. All I'm focusing about is just putting the constant pressure of scoring against my opponent and hope that my doubles get there, because that's the real secret. Doubles, you only can practice all you want. It matters when you can hit them when your heart's racing in a match. Make the scoring phase as easy as possible. Like I said, I get more excited over 95s than 100s for the same reason. That's 2 trips, usually harder.
75.
128 for Shuler. And what is debatably a must-win leg will not get a dart as he is not happy with that one sinking into the 1. Does correct well. Finds a 57 on the last, it looks like. Two darts at double top for Brad Lewis over to the 10. And well outside on the last.
25.
So 12 or 20 for either tops or double 16. Misses the big number. 43, only one dart at tops, and it hugs the wire. You almost feel like if he had two darts at it, would have gone in with a marker like that. Brad to try to punish and get himself halfway to a win.
First dart.
Does get it on the first dart. That's the other thing with collects. Like, yeah, if you have two darts at a double, you should try your best to be hitting it. Because, I mean, the ideal, if you can get above a 33% in hitting your doubles, that's the goal. But if you have three clear, that's what you really, especially when you look at Division 2, Division
40.
1 and up, your three clear shots are the ones that matter most. Your ton plus checkouts are great. Your treble double checkouts are great. They're not what you should expect every single time, but you should expect, okay, I have three clear darts at a double. I need to reset and hit it. It doesn't matter if it's the Madhouse, double 3, double 12, double bull. Take your time and collect on all those darts. If you guys are curious on the process of Will Stewart versus Mike Tieske for Division 1 Season 11, Mike Tieske up 8-4 in a 1st-to-10 format.
Three.
$100.
5-2 difference. 5 legs away from the win for Brad. This isn't, again, I don't think I'm panicking if I'm in Josh's shoes, but I'm starting to think, okay, this job is getting a lot harder. And that's the one thing you actually also have to forget about while throwing at the line, how hard the job is to overcome.
26.
And when you get opportunities like this, at 26, eating some breakfast, you got to capitalize. Try to find a solid scoring visit. Don't push it too much. Just play your darts the same. Find a solid 60 here. 59 works. Close that distance down. Keep it right on Brad. Pressure him to hit those combination darts and doubles. Mike Tieske guarantees the tie, by the way, against Will Stewart. One leg away
40.
from the match win. Will needs to hit 5 on the spin now for a tie for our fellow friend at USA Darts.
35.
$43.
Frustrating turn there for Brad. Does leave a finish, but it's bare minimum. And Shuler challenge.
98.
He does do so. 98 on the score. Leaves 136. 126, excuse me. You can tell that my math is still rusty despite commentating these nonstop.
$59.
So 419s for the bull. Can't tell. Looks like that might be the 3.
$82.
82, still a solid scoring visit. Pressure's the 108 to have to go. It can go. 54. Doesn't go now. Good last start from Lewis to bring the pressure right on back. Leaves himself a technically one dart finish, but you're probably going to split that. 44. Double top. Shuler can work in on that dart.
Third.
Does work in on the dart. Shuler takes a leg on the board and breaks the throw of Lewis. Now, this is another good spot. You hold your throw here, all of a sudden it's a one leg difference in a brand new matchup. Don't think about it of how many legs you have to win in a row, how many legs to the finish line. Just think of how good is this current situation and how can I make the situation better. Approach every leg the same. Even though Schuler's 6 points less than average right now, it's still only a 2-leg separation, so it's very close. Although he kind of relinquishes his throw early on here.
$65.
$125.
All over the 20 bet.
81.
81, but it looked like it could have been more. I do want to give myself a correction on Will Stewart's matchup. It's actually a first to 11 or a 10-10 tie. It's 10-4, so Will needs 6 on the spin to get the tie in that matchup. $78, so he kicked it through the uprights, hit all the trebles upstairs. That's kind of a funky lay on that second dart there for Brad Lewis.
76.
Shuler. Hits a 40, so no leave. Lewis can leave a bull, or leave using the bull. Does use the bull. Hit 65 for the 170. Smart last start. Good utilization of the bull. Shuler doesn't have to put too much worry. 170 probably not going to go, but you have to find something. 25 is just not going to be enough. Leaves 163, so that's a bogey. 6 darts now from 170.
$81.
Solid 97 from Shuler. Keeps the pressure on. 89 can go in 2. Should still get a dart. 20 for bull. Bullseye for Brad Lewis. Swings it over to the left.
53.
Leaves 36 on the return. $56 remaining. Looks like 1 dart at tops. Doesn't go. So now 3 clear for Brad. This is the turns where you really need to collect, especially against the darts. He's going to be happy about the opportunity. That's into the 1, so over to the 17s. Taking a moment to recollect. I like the recollect here. Conservative dart. Now you play aggressive. Yeah. When you're doing a switch to a number like a 17 or a 19 at the end, you play conservative with 2 darts in hands, lay it up, and then try to really drill that last one. If it leaves odd, it leaves odd. But Shuler does hit it, so it's 5-4. Back to a 1-leg differential from 5-2. 2 on the spin for Josh. Mike Tieske, by the way, takes out a 126 against Will Stewart to put him out of his misery.
$100.
So neck and neck in this matchup. If Josh wins this, the momentum's completely back in his favor. And we've seen it. Whoever got to 5 legs first has kind of been a curse. It was 5-2 or 5-3 last night for Division 3. That ended up being a curse in that matchup. Not to try to put any superstition on Brad's game. He's earned his own right to be here. Awkward second dart. I'm surprised he stayed.
140.
He stayed because he won a 180, and they're so much cooler. But yeah, very awkward dart there. You can see by the way I was leaned all the way over. This is a good leg, though, if you're Lewis, right? You're just trying to resettle yourself. You're trying to say, okay, stop the bleed, get a leg on the board. I'm out shooting my opponent, which means that I'm usually getting the scoring phase done plenty fine.
60.
The difference is the checkout percentage for Josh has just been a little bit cleaner. That's been the difference maker. Six darts for 116. I always like the 20s routes. The 76
45.
for 40 is so popular, but shooting at 20s the whole game, and I personally don't mind double 18 at all. Double 9, I'm not as much of a friend of, I guess. That's why I just tried to hit it on the first time at 18. Ooh.
67.
I was curious about that. I was like, is my math wrong there? Nope, does leave 4. So it left it nice and low.
26.
So take your time if you're Brad. Walk that dart in there. Don't go inside early and bust. Give yourself the maximum amount of darts. So working on that dart. Good working. And now drill this double. Oh, well thrown on the last. Just sunk to the first or second dart, excuse me. But that's okay. You just don't want to have an early opportunity at the Madhouse. You'd rather try to take your max darts at the conservative twos before you really have to start playing those risky lies.
79.
That's a good shot from Shuler, just in case. 4 is no gimme. You're so close to running out of runway. Oh, that's a bust.
Bust.
So 126. This is very interesting. Josh has an opportunity. He's been hitting those 19s pretty well, but then he pulls it over. Good correction. But not on the last start. 67 on the score. Want to set himself up a little bit better than that, just in case. That's a good marker dart, though. Yeah, takes
Second
it.
dart.
Stops the bleed for Brad Lewis. 4 legs away from the win. Still holding on to his control. Shuler does get the darts here. What is he going to be able to do with them?
Uh, 84.
$60.
58.
Decent openers from both these players. Shuler out in front with his darts.
60.
25.
85.
Solid shot from Shuler. Does find 95. Starts to regain control of his throw.
55.
Does have control. So this is the important turns. This is the moments where we've seen these players have highs and lows. We need a high right here. Set yourself up well. Doesn't do so. Shuler lets it get away from him. Will come into play. Needs another trouble.
66.
66 does not punish. So now, Joshua, what finish are you going to leave on this visit? Got to be careful. Good last start. Finds the trip 19 on the cover. 82 on the score. Does get him into nice and easy checker range. I say nice and easy because you can miss that first start and still be on for a finish. He's been playing well in the 19s as well. So hope to see him start
91.
for those 76 for 40. Working on the dart, well and low in that single. Not going to have the chance now. 38 scored, 78 remaining. Was trying to leave 24. That's frustrating. You have to hit the big number to make sure you get a dart. I believe that's above the 19 there.
44.
44 still does leave 40. 74 under attack, 42 for 32. Yeah, had trouble getting around that dart. Awkward place for Shuler. I wondered if he moved along the hockey at all. Good marker for Lewis. Over to the 10. Bust. He's been having a lot of trouble on that 20 to 10 transition, which is not my favorite either in the world, but that's also why I'm a big fan of the 16s route. I think Shuler does get it. So that's going to be a 6-5 matchup now. It's going to be a little bit of a reset period. Let's see how the darts transpire. Brad does have the darts. 4 legs away from the finish line. Your opponent's 5 legs away. It is still any guy's game here.
55.
Do want to thank our sponsors, Shot Darts, for sponsoring DPFL darts. And, of course, Florida Commercial Care as well, and Captain Steve McDowell. And a big shout out to all of our admins that work so hard on the team. They do all the real work. I just show up sometimes on time to commentate.
92.
Again, Shuler all over the treble 19. Going to the school of Paula Murphy,
100.
it seems. Zach Nielsen, who we saw yesterday, saying, thanks, DPFL and USA Darts. Well, thank you, Zach, for showing up and put on a show. It's always fun to watch all the different levels, and you guys put on quite the show for us last night. Had fun watching it. Made me intimidated to play my match coming up this week for my first ever DPFL match. But at least I know what bar Will Stewart has set and what I have to try to do better than. And that's all that really matters. Jokes aside, for anybody that's watching this that is going into season 11, the biggest thing that I can tell you to get the most out of your season is to set just a couple of goals and try to track your progress towards those goals.
85.
So for me, as someone who actually has, it's been so long since I played a Dart Connect Digital Steel tournament that I believe my competition card has expired, which is why we're going off my past event stats to get myself into Division 1. I will say my goal this season is just be right at that average floor for Division 1. I want to get at least a 65 average for the season. If I go up above a 70, I haven't been above a 70 in a long time. In fact, my highest long format average was right around a 69, 68. So I always say, all right, this is my goal for the season. My goal is to try to not get last place. I don't care if I make it to knock-on, but just try not to get last place in my group. Try to average a 65 or higher. That's my main goals for the season. If I get anything else on top of that, bonus money. That's how you get the most out of everything. 69, opportunity for Lewis. Does get one dart upstairs and does pin
Third
it.
dart.
Good shot from Brad Lewis. 2 legs of separation. Josh will have the darts in the next leg. Consistently has been about 5 to 6 points less an average than Brad, but has managed to keep this a very close and tight match. We just haven't seen Josh on any breakaway legs. We've seen Brad on a couple. Josh has had moments of brilliance, and he's had some very solid collects. And I think he's honestly been a little bit better on the doubles. But all that matters is the fact that Brad's just getting himself more opportunities. That's the difference maker here. If you can get yourself those same opportunities, that's great. And that's what I'm saying is, yes, doubles are absolutely the most important thing when you're talking about the average leg of darts. But in a match play like this, consistently putting that pressure, consistently getting that scoring power on your opponent, giving yourself the most opportunities, makes your darts more comfortable when you're out in front of your opponent. You usually get those opportunities at double where your hand's not feeling a little tight or shaky, you're not breathing a little heavy, and your heart's not racing. Of course, I think I'm inspiring Josh as he's now picking up his scoring power. Another 100 scored there. Good stuff from Shuler.
$45.
235 for Shuler. Needed to stay true in those 20s. 65 got you the 170. 23, not to the ideal turn as it lets Brad back into the leg.
$70.
Good recovery. Shuler finds 95 to reset yourself, get yourself to a 2 dart check. With the darts, it's ever so important.
81.
Brad was trying to throw that into contested highway traffic. Takes the exit ramp to the 1. 78. Single 20 to leave tops. Misses the big number. 124 has an opportunity. Finds it over to the 14. Sinks on the 14. So 53 remaining.
79.
Two darts at double top. Not a bad marker. This time doesn't go. Brad failed to leave himself on a three clear, so we'll only have max 2 darts.
Second dart.
Does get it on the second dart. Tries to move over to show it. He's been really good about it. I trust that it's in, but I do think it's funny. That flight is perfectly blocking. There we go. We saw it in there. And again, now the danger zone has reappeared. 2 legs for Brad till the match when Shuler 3 legs away from Brad.
44.
We've seen matchups like this, but Brad has not relinquished control of this match. It's come back to within 1 leg after that initial separation, but he has not given up control.
Yeah, well, that's great there.
And Shuler has had moments of brilliance. Again, he's consistently at 60. He's been bringing it up ever so slightly. Brad has just not really dropped too low once he's found the 65, 66 range.
99.
Forty-one.
127.
95.
40.
99.
Brad on setup duty in this visit. How well of a setup will it be? That's the question we're trying to answer here. Just 40 for 151. Shuler needs to get himself back into this. This is a must-win leg. You can't let your opponents have that many legs at match points, right? If you win this leg, okay, it's a 2-leg difference. He still needs 2 legs for the win. You get the darts in the next throw, phenomenal. But if your opponent gets the next 5 legs to be on match points, you're probably going to end up losing one of them. So you have to get it here. You have to get this leg if you're Josh. And another slack turn from Brad. This is your opportunity. And Josh is so quick to get thrown at the line as soon as Brad kind of says the score, puts it in. I wish I could want to see a little bit of a slower restraint, a little bit more of a settle. It's hard to tell exactly how he's standing at the Aki, if he's walking up quick, but I do think, especially in remote darts like this, in person steel, rhythm comes into play a lot more. But self-pacing, slowing yourself down makes a big difference there and helping keep your focus when you're at the throw line. See there, he took that extra moment. Good recollect, right on the wire. Doesn't go. Last start sailed away. So now Brad 80 to get himself to match point here in your Division 2 final. 2 darts at double 10. Resettle.
Third dart.
Gets it on the 3rd dart. So now 5 legs in a row is the task for Shuler. It is now or never. You have to play perfect from here on out, or Brad Lewis will get the win. At least you get to start with the darts.
$59.
85.
83.
Good open from Lewis. Good open from Shuler.
85.
Brad continuing to find that consistency in his scoring that's been so key in his game tonight.
$45.
And the darts might get taken away from him in this moment. Just
55.
55. You expected almost a little bit more damage for how close those darts were. But sigh of relief. Shuler now gets to go off to the races himself.
One.
Great shot from Josh. Stacks his third dart on top of the first for a 1-2-1. But then right back to it. Brad in close pursuit.
140.
Good 140 to leave 136. So still the first one out of finish. It's no gimme. So now this is another you need a ton kind of turn. Oh, are those both in?
133.
Good 133 from Shuler. Advice taken. Tees up 60. He's defending his throw vigorously.
100.
And a beautiful 100 there. I couldn't tell if that last one was in or not. Gorgeous start. Misses the big number. Single 19. Only one dart at tops.
Third.
Does sink it in. Josh can wipe the sweat off his brow there as he was kind of pushed to the edge, knowing that Brad was approaching 3 clear for the match. So no match starts yet for Brad Lewis. And another leg on the board for Josh Shuler. Brad does get the darts here, so this is where that task gets harder. That was an 18 dart leg.
$41.
If you're Brad, you're thinking, man, I thought I was going to get it done here and I didn't get opportunity.
Oh.
$13.
Come on, Josh.
Oh, finding the ones. Very frustrating from Shuler. 6 darts, only at 447 for Brad. I like where he wants to be challenging the throw. Instead, just having the same woes.
100.
Brad recovers. Now it's up to Josh to do the same. Didn't take advantage of the early misses, so he has to just continue to follow blow for blow right now. Can he get one treble in? He does not. So loses a little bit of ground. Brad's still in control of his own throw. But there, looks like going to the left.
35.
35 scored. Yeah, feeling the frustrations. You can hear it in his voice. Another let off. So Shuler should be able to at least close this distance with 3 big singles.
59.
Brings it back within range. But first one's in for Brad.
100.
Another 100. He's been doing that. Struggle, turn, 100. Struggle, turn, 100.
$95.
Solid response for Shuler. Making sure he's still staying sticky.
43.
Oh, and that's going to be a little bit of a misstep there. Doesn't leave a finish. Josh has to leave a finish.
57.
Instead, he just is 10 points behind, also not sitting pretty.
97.
Oh, I thought that one was in the 18 there for Brad. Does do a good job of getting himself within finishing range.
40.
Shuler feeling the frustrations. 48 does not feel like enough. Single 16. Looks like that's in for tops. One missed match
52.
start now for Brad Lewis. 1-3-1 on must go. 51's in, 80 left. Now 60, so single 20 to set up. Good setup shot, but is that going to be the last 3 darts of Josh Shuler? Looking for the 10. Over to the 5. Inside, no. That's 2 more. Now 3 missed match darts in total. And then wisely busts on that last dart there. Shuler hugging the bottom wire over to the 10. Can use that as a marker dart.
30.
Oh no, the last one was inside. I thought he perfectly placed it. Instead, put it in to this big single segment. Now over to Brad Lewis. He's already missed 3 match darts. Make that 4. Another bust.
Bust.
5 mismatched darts now for Brad Lewis. Josh has to walk through this door.
First dart.
It does. He is still alive, folks. All of a sudden, that thought starts creeping in your head of, I can do this if you're Josh. And Brad's thinking, man, I just missed 5 darts in that leg to get this one done and dusted. But it's a game of short memories. Shake it off your shoulders and move on to the next one. As Shuler's wasting no time going off to the races.
95.
Solid 95 in. Bill Tripp saying, put the hammer down, Brad. You got this.
140.
Oh, with the 140, I'm inclined to say that I'm still favoring Brad. He's still scoring very well in this matchup. I will say his doubling has not been as strong as Shuler's, but he's made up for it with the scoring. Shuler, if he continues to find hundreds or near hundreds every visit, though, will make this a little bit trickier than it was before. As at 150 saying averages don't
81.
drop on a bust. I don't believe so. I'm not actually sure about how the algorithm approaches with busting. I mind you, most of my experience with Dark Connect, other than commentating and looking at the scoreboard, is pre 2020. So I'm not the expert on that one, unfortunately. Looks like, yeah, that was a Shanghai on the 19th. Does leave a finish, so you're going to be happy with that.
50.
50 for the 130. I actually like that play quite a lot for the little fish. Gives you an opportunity to miss and still be on a finish. Important when your opponent did leave the 148. 128 now needs to get set up. 108 over to the 18s, maybe? No, he stays and slings into the 5. Stay true on this first dart. Give yourself an opportunity. Finds the 20. Over to the 5. Unfortunate dart. Was well thrown. No notes. Oh, man, that's frustrating.
90.
Beautiful setup, though, for Brad Lewis. Uses the bull perfectly. I love that shot.
Sorry.
That actually is 100, so that's what they're fixing real quick. So it actually is 30 left.
I can't fix it, but it was actually 100.
Oh. Okay.
I think he was trying to inform Josh there before his throw started. So they're just going to get that adjustment in real quick.
Oh, I thought he wanted it.
47 line.
So for the match, Brad Lewis over to the 15s. A little bit of a mistake on that setup. Well, that's not too bad of a miss. But doesn't go. Needed the red bit, not the green bit. 16 scored at least 14 on the return. So that is 3 more now. 8 missed match darts. Double top for Shuler. Over to the 10. Doesn't go. Brad Lewis, you got to cross through this finish line eventually. Josh knows that could be the last 3, but he could have 3 more with the way the doubles have been going. Over to double 7. No one's favorite double. Well, low. Needs to settle that dart.
Throw the dart.
And yeah, you can hear him
Yes.
talk about it. That's 11 missed match darts for Brad Lewis. Josh can all of a sudden make this a completely different game. Double 10.
Oh, wow.
Oh, but he busts on the first dart. Another opportunity. Brad Lewis, what can you do? You've been outscoring all night. The finishing has been your woes.
Second dart.
But does get there.
Hold on. Oh, there. I get that going.
Good.
Good. Good job.
They're I can't get that going for some reason. They're like my worst enemy and best friend at the same time.
Yeah, that was a good matchup, boys. That was very intense. Brad, were you feeling a little bit of finish line-itis there?
Oh, I was starting to worry about my last match in the semifinals. It was the same thing. Shoot really good, but then couldn't hit a double. I was starting to worry. I'm like, please don't be like last time.
And Josh, on the other hand, I mean, you were saying resilient. You never had the lead in the match, but man, every time that felt like Brad was on a breakaway, you were getting back into it. What was your mentality in those moments?
It's you keep fighting every leg. It's you never stop until that last dart. So, like I said, if I have the opportunity to try to take it, but like I said, my scoring wasn't what he needed to be, and Brad just kept punishing me when I messed up.
Well, you guys still had a great showing there. It was very intense down to the end, especially with some of those nervy doubles on the finish line. But job done. So congratulations on both of you to making to the finals, and Brad, to you on the win.
Thank you very much.
Congrats, Brad. Good throw, man.
Thanks, Josh. Good games, man.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that will do it for us here for DPFL Darts Season 10. Looking forward to getting my own match started in Season 11 here and everything else. So wish you guys the best of luck with anybody that is playing. Anybody that's been watching along, thank you for the support. And that will do it for us here. So have a good night, everybody. Stay safe.